everywhere, GBS.
Good morning. You are just right on time for Gbs Morning Extra. My name is Tom Mwema, and this morning we have a lot lined up for you. Being on Tuesday, we are going to set the pace for politics this week, and more so the Ruto's assassination that has been taking center stage since yesterday. And today I'm not alone in the studio. I'm joined by two gentlemen. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm joined by Rocky Nokov, MDF Deputy Secretary General. Is it national or in Nairobi?
National.
Okay.
National.
Thank you. Then I have Marvin Aluko, political analyst. Morning.
Morning.
How is your morning?
It's okay.
You seem so happy today.
Well, nature.
Okay, we'll be coming back to discuss more about politics, review the papers.
Yeah.
So you're welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, remember to keep on tweeting. Hashtag is Gbs Morning Extra. Our SMS line is open. That is 21144. 21144. We are open. You can keep SMSing us, sending your requests, maybe your questions, and we'll be sampling some of them in the course of the show. But now, let's now shift gears to news recap. And controversial former Jubilee Party Deputy Secretary General David Murathe has now come out defending the current Party Secretary General Raphael Tuju over claims that he's undermining the Deputy President William Ruto.
At a fundraiser for a church on Sunday in PCEA Ngewa Church in Githunguri, Kiambu, Murathe said that Uhuru has vowed not to allow a thief to rule after him. He also told the congregation that the president is not a thief himself.
Inawezekanaje rais akienda Rift Valley wajumbe wote mpaka mkubwa yao?
He also added that Deputy President William Ruto and Team Tangatanga have stopped working for Kenyans and are promising to work for Kenyans in 2023, yet the elections is 3 years away. David Murathe accused the Mount Kenya region, saying they hurl insult at the president and are full of ignorance. Murathe told Team Tangatanga to keep off Party Secretary General Raphael Tuju. He said Tuju was appointed by the president and the constitution say he will stay there for 3 years before any party election, since he is an official. A story there, Morning Extra.
And some Jubilee MPs have termed William Ruto as a crying baby over claims that there are plans to assassinate him, saying that Deputy President was seeking sympathy votes from followers instead of working for them.
It must be understood that the meetings at CS Munya, Moshero, Karaoke, and Macharia have been accused of holding are as a result of the Naivasha and Nyeri meetings on how to ensure Mount Kenya gets its fair share of development projects. Some of us have been involved in these meetings. They have nothing to do with planning to assassinate anyone. The question then is, why would anyone suggest such a ridiculous thing? We are convinced that those behind these allegations are trying to stop the Mount Kenya cabinet secretaries from assisting Mount Kenya members of parliament to push development for the region, even as they themselves do it for their own regions. We also see this as meant to intimidate these cabinet secretaries from executing decisions made by the president towards developing our region. Finally, we see this as a badly disguised attempt to incite the rest of the country against our region, against
viongozi wa Mount Kenya. Tunataka kusema yale maneno yalitokea siku ya leo si maneno ya kweli, na kuja kuwa na mkutano wowote wa kupanga jama za kuharibu maisha ya Deputy President. Na vile tumekuwa na mikutano kadhaa kama viongozi wa Central Kenya, na hii mikutano imekuwa ni kuongea juu ya maendeleo, vile wananchi wanaweza kupata maendeleo, lakini hakuja kuwa na mkutano wowote wa kupanga assassination mahali yoyote. Ile maneno tumepanga, tulikuwa na mkutano pale Naivasha na tukakubaliana ile miradi tungependa serikali tufanyie, na ni kusema kweli tumekuwa tukifuata kama viongozi, na ni kazi yetu kufuata maendeleo, na tuko na cabinet secretaries.
I don't know why people have a problem when central MPs, central executive, that is cabinet secretaries and PSs meet. Yet when other people are meeting, for example, there are people who have been going to Western Hotel for meetings with the Deputy President. There are people who have been going to Deputy President's residence in Karen just to strategize. Just the other day, leaders from Meru had a meeting with the Deputy President. I think it was Thursday last week. If we get paranoid and all the time when we have meetings, people are worried about what are they saying, what are they planning, then it means we are not going.
And Mzalendo Trust report that highlighted MPs that are always silent in Parliament has sparked a lot of reactions, and today we have unpacked the whole list.
According to a report by Mzalendo Trust, 45 members of parliament made less than 10 contributions in the House between September 2017 and December 2018, despite earning millions of shillings in salary and bloated allowances to legislate. Among them are Oscar Sudi of Kapseret, his Mgwen MP counterpart Alex Kosgei, as well as Charles Kamuren of Baringo South, Samuel Arama of Nakuru Town West, James Githua of Kabete, Justus Kizito of Shinyalu, Alfred Sambu of Webuye East, and Joshua Adama of Nyakach. The report released on Sunday by Mzalendo Trust ranked Kikuyu MP Kimani Ichung'wah one of the best performing members in the House, alongside John Kirui Limo of Kelion East and Robert Pukose of Endebess. David Sankok, Jacqueline Adhiambo Oduor, and Godfrey Osotsi topped the list as the most active nominated MPs at the National Assembly, with Abshiro Halake, Mary Riane, Senator, and Gertrude Msuve Inama leading nominated senators. At least 5 out of 47 representatives were also rated silent, including Anab Mohamed of Garissa, Lilian Tomiton of West Pokot, Irene Kasalu of Kitui, Jane Wanjiku of Embu, and Jane Chebaibai of Elgeyo Marakwet. Sabina Chege of Murang'a, Gladys Bosch-Sholei of Uasin Gishu, and Gladys Atieno Nyasuna of Homa Bay were named the best performing women representatives. Reporting for GBS Morning Extra, I am Caroline.
And now to education matters, and tensions are high at Uriri Boys High School after the students torched the school over claims that they were denied a chance to watch Harambee Stars game against Algeria.
Students of Uriri High School have burnt one of their dormitories after being denied a chance to watch an AFCON match. The students reportedly wanted to watch the Kenya vs Algeria match yesterday that was taking place in Cairo, Egypt. However, their requests were turned down by school administration, hence spurring this set. According to the school principal, an alarm was raised by the school watchman that the dormitory had been set ablaze before the neighboring community and students themselves came in to contain the situation. Property of unknown value was destroyed during the inferno. Reporting for Morning Extra, Sharon Maloba.
Okay, that's all what we have this morning. That's what the news updates that you need to know right now. And we're also following other stories that will be updating you in the course of the day. So just keep it GBS. And now our guys is back to you. I'm joined by, as introduced earlier, Marvin Aluko, political analyst, and Rocky Okoth, Deputy Secretary General, MDF. Good morning, guys, once more. Okay, welcome so much. And let me first of all get your reaction about the stories you have covered today, especially this Morave story.
What I can say about the story that has been created by the former chair Jubilee Party is that he's someone who I can say is just free in his airing his opinion about Jubilee, and there are some allegations. Okay, some people say that they have Murade still has some powers within Jubilee, which makes him kind of not. Yes, he's not a member of Jubilee, but then still the power still apply. His power still applies. Yeah. So that's why you see the collaboration between him and Tuju makes the other team Tanga, and the other team opposed to the handshake. really anxious about whatever the outcome of the outcome of Ruto, the outcome of Uhuru and this other.
Raila.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Rockin, what do you make of that story?
The story of Mradhi is, Mradhi was a very important member of Jubilee, and the fact that he's actually taking part in this discussion shows that he's also still playing part in the Jubilee, that is Tangatanga Kieleweke politics. So I feel like he's enjoying his free political right, the country, to talk about whatever is going on, especially the assassination attempts. And also he's also right in his own political right to talk about the hoster of Raphael Tuju. And as a country, I think we are in to see a lot of things going forward. And Mradhi is just playing his part as a Kenyan because he's enjoying his right to talk about...
okay, and as a former Deputy Secretary General,
yes.
Is it that powerful?
Yeah, we can say that powerful or not powerful, but powerful or not powerful, he was a very serious member of Jubilee. And whatever he says might be construed as a directive from a section of Jubilee leaders, because claims have been made that he is actually he began this parade of the Kieleweke team under the currents, and we can say that he is actually playing cards. He's part and parcel of this debate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's now look at the papers. We start with the Daily Nation. The story on the front page is CS's and Ruto assassination plot misery. And then we have CS Munya, who's also suspected of being among the CSs who are plotting to assassinate the Deputy President, Dr. William Ruto. And he says, he's quoted here, how can 40 people meeting in a public place plan a murder? Cabinet Secretaries Sisli Kariuki, Joe Musheru, Peter Munya. With the President's Delivery Unit Secretary Andrew Wakayo and then GPS Joseph Joroge. So they also in this plot, they're also suspected to be plotting to assassinate Deputy President William Ruto. And we start with you, Aluko. Do you think these are just mere allegations or is something you should take serious?
Well, as you put it, they're just allegations. Even though it's true that every Kenyan, Ruto, as any other Kenyan, is entitled to like security. Having the full security. So if he fears about his life, then action needs to be taken. But then we should not run away from the fact that these might be politics. They might be politics, and it's a serious allegation. It's so sensitive that even the CSS who have been implicated in this had to go ahead with writing, doing the statement with the DCI yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now, I can say that there is fire on the mountain. Fire is on the mountain, and in Swahili we say that palipo na moshi pana nini? Pana moto. And whatever is happening, the allegations of assassination against the Deputy President should be taken very seriously as a country, because he's number 2, he's our Deputy President. And I can say that, currently the country is very polarized. Polarized in the sense that our leading party, the Jubilee, is divided into 2. And people can say that whatever is happening is political theatrics. But again, everybody, as my friend said, is entitled to security. So the Deputy President, this matter is very sensitive, and the Deputy President deserves that security from government just like any other Kenyans. However, My views could be that, given the polarized nature of our politics, given the two poles, the Tanga and the Kieleweke team, and given the politics that has ensued in the previous 2 or 3 months, I can comfortably say that somebody can actually thrash this issue to be mere propaganda, and I'm also happy that the case or the issue is before the DCI, and I hope that he's going to do his work and tell Kenyans what is really happening in this country in concerns to the Deputy President and the claims. Huh?
But then, Tom, you see, the issue being serious is due to the fact that it was a phone call that was made,
Okay.
and it was not formal. You see, if it were a formal written kind of allegation to the DCI, then, probe on the 4 CSS would really make a lot of sense to Kenyans. To me and to most Kenyans.
So for you right now, it does not make sense?
It doesn't make sense because still, allegations are allegations, red herring here.
It can only...
And then being the second in command in the country.
Yes.
And then he just makes a phone call. What's so difficult with him going to write an official statement?
That's the big question, because for me, Ruto should not be fearing anything. The DCI works, okay, it's an independent institution, but then the office has been mandated by the office of the president to do their work. Yeah, so they need to kind of be free with this office.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, this case can only be said to be true or false after investigations. However, like I said, we are in a very polarized political situation in this country. And I can comfortably say that the Deputy President, to some politicians, especially realists, who believe in the game of power, can say that maybe he's playing power politics and really politics, because given the allegations against the Mount Kenya regions and given the President's outburst at Kasarani, it might be a strategic plan by the Tanga team to try and politicize or come up with a story that will guide the country going forward. Because as you can see, the people who have been adversely mentioned in this case, the assassination case, are people that come from the central region backyard. So somebody will easily say that after the president maybe said this and that about people who are campaigning, maybe that one is a desperate effort to maybe bring out this issue and point fingers at some individuals to make the president come out as let me say, as an innocent person, as a person who should be, maybe who people should pity for in the country, and therefore as a person who maybe will attract sympathy from people. Yeah, so that's my case about this.
Yeah.
Okay, and before you react, taking this fact that what Rokin has highlighted, the suspect seems to lean from one side of the country. And then there has been issues between the Deputy President, Dr. William Ruto, and the leaders from the very area.
Yes.
What do you read of this?
There is this African proverb, when you see an alligator coming from the ocean.
Is it African or from your side?
It's an African proverb anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. When you see an alligator coming from the ocean with the message that the crocodile is sick, then know that indeed that's the situation in the ocean. Yeah. So the crocodiles here, the alligators here, one, for me, has been the president. The outburst at Kasarani, the team that is perceived to be for the handshake that is opposed to Tanga, And not only the one in Kasarani, there was another one in Muranga. Was it in Muranga or somewhere in Central Province? So it's evident that indeed the house is divided into two. But then for us as Kenyans, it's just a matter of wait and see. The time will come that, yeah.
And then the question again is, Deputy President is the number 2 in command in this country. He's one of the most protected leaders.
And also the party leader of Jubilee.
The party leader of Jubilee.
I mean, deputy party leader of Jubilee.
When such a caliber leader, such a caliber of a leader, when he starts complaining about security, and then I don't remember there was the withdrawal of security for some MPs some time back. All these moves, what does them tell you?
You know, in a family, in our African traditional culture, the father is the head of the house, and in this case Uhuru is the father, our president, and the deputy president, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, is like the mother, the second in command, and the children are Kenyans. When there is an issue in a family, you know, if it does not come from the father or the mother directing the course of things in a family, and then the children are only there to see the direction of parents because they are under their wings. The deputy president is close. In fact, he should not be the one complaining about security. If he complains about security, what about Kenyans who don't have security, personal guards, who don't enjoy government resources on security? So I feel like he should just come out clearly, because even yesterday you didn't hear him come out clearly about this issue. He should come out clearly and say whether or not the allegations are real or false. And if that's the case, he should go personal to the DCI instead of making a phone call, because such allegations are very dire. They are very serious, especially to our deputy president, that he cannot just make a phone call and leave it at that. You know, he should take a step further and go even forward, report this statement to the DCI himself, and even make a press statement concerning the same, so that Kenyans can see the seriousness of this issue. But if he leaves this case to his people, his right-hand men, you know, it will be misconstrued for another political sideshow in the country, because we have seen so many allegations even before. You even had, like, I think it was last year, so many people came up saying that their lives are in danger, and even Court Secretary General once claimed that. And you see, as a country, we need such leaders to come up and tell Kenyans exactly why they feel like their life is in danger, instead of sitting in their bedroom and calling, and then they expect Kenyans to take that seriously. So Kenyans can only take that serious when he comes out and he says this and this has been done, and therefore I feel my life is in danger.
Okay, and there's also a question of the operations of DCI. DCI just responded out of a phone call.
Yeah.
Do you think it was right for DCI to recommend that the deputy president comes and write an official statement before they act? Because they called these CSs, they summoned them yesterday, and they did not write a statement because there was no official complaint. I do think that's also a failure on the DCI side.
It is a failure. In fact, if that's the procedure of deciding or determining whether something is wrong or right in this country, then I think that procedure is very flawed.
Okay.
Because Kenyans need to see concrete evidence as to whether something has happened or not. Because you can't receive a phone call or an email, then you react on that email. However, we must give him the benefit of the doubt, given that maybe he reacted that way because it is the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, and you see, you cannot take anything by chance, because if anything happened today, maybe the ball will stop at his office. Maybe they will claim that he did not take the issue seriously. So maybe, given that it is the Deputy President, that's why he reacted that way. But still, if that is the way things are done, then Kenyans should be worried about that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it's from the CSS that who were saying that the deputy president should have made a formal communication, not a phone call, which now makes the DCI kind of not, okay, for me, not taking that kind of investigation so serious. It would have been prudent if he was the deputy president here, he was the one who had made the official communication. Yeah, but then truth of the matter is there is a problem. There is a problem with Ruto. There is a problem within Jubilee, because why is it that every time the news is all about Ruto? Every morning, every evening, it's all about Ruto. Ruto is against Raila. Ruto is against the handshake. He's against Uhuru, because if he's against the handshake, then that means he is against Uhuru. The only thing, he cannot just come out like to tell Uhuru that, you know, things cannot just work out. So this is why Uhuru's supporters from Mount Kenya and from any other region are like, yeah, things do not just go right. So they're kind of, yeah.
You've lost some words. Yeah. Okay. And then it seems like William Ruto kind of politics is playing victim all the time, because when there is war against corruption, he says he's being targeted. And then when anything happens, any move, he says he's being targeted. And now he claims his life is in danger. What if now it comes out that these claims were just mere allegations and there was nothing concrete about it?
You know, his style of politics, apart from being Machiavellian, is also playing like an underdog. An underdog, somebody wants to be seen as a victim, somebody wants to be seen as maybe being trampled over by others, someone who is being targeted, so that it is normal in politics. It is normal, huh? So that maybe the country or the citizens, the electorate, might see him as someone maybe who is strong. You see, if you play victim, so many people tend to sympathize with you, and they feel like maybe the state or some individuals are not being fair to you. And that one is about pacifying your electorates, making them believe in your narrative, creating a narrative around yourself and making them believe about you. So the deputy president, if it is politics, then I can say, yes, he's playing Machiavellian politics. And these allegations, like I said earlier, they are very serious. They are very serious, and they should not be taken lightly by anybody.
And you see the Kieleweke team is saying that Ruto is seeking for political mileage using this narrative. Yeah,
they have come out very clearly. They have made press statements concerning that. That's why I'm saying if it is politics, because they are already politicking about this issue. And Jubilee is divided into two, and therefore the Kieleweke team is already politicking. Whether or not the issue is serious or it is true, we don't know as citizens, because it is before the DCI. It is up to the DCI to preempt or to come up with serious maybe results as to whether it is true or false. So I believe that the Kieleweke team has come out to politicize the issue, and it is right for them to play politics, but also the office of the DCI should come out, should take the issue seriously, so that Kenyans should know what is happening with the deputy president, and we move forward as a country, because we don't want to stick on this issue, because I know in the next 2 weeks this issue is going to be on the front pages of the magazines. Everybody will talk about it, and we will forget about many other serious things that are maybe ailing or affecting the country. Yeah.
Okay, and Aluko, it has been. This is not the first case we have seen leaders complaining about their security. We had the Nairobi governor, Mike Sonko, also complained. And then we did not see any substantive results from the DCI. Do you think this time around we can expect maybe something tangible from him?
Just because Sonko also did not make official his claims, they were just verbal. But then coming back to Ruto's case, you know, the assassination claims, my concern is, what if they are true? And then another question, what if by 2022 or something happens between now and, I mean, Ruto dies a natural death, God forbid, but a natural death before 2022. Would this be kind of a fight back, not a fight back, but the allegation claims will be again on these people alleged to be plotting these claims. Yeah, so these are serious. I mean, for us it remains a serious concern. Sonko's issue is kind of, for me it's kind of different, because you see, Sonko plays that popularity kind of politics, and if you look at the type of politics that Sonko and Ruto plays, kind of they're related, but then, you know, Ruto is kind of genius in his moves, because one, he came to power together with the president with what so many have termed as sympathy votes, when they were going for prayers everywhere across the nation. Now getting to this claim, a serious claim.
So this is another genius move.
This is another genius move. It's very strategic. Yes, it's very strategic. But then Sonko, he's someone who really like works for the people. Like he's always on the ground. Yeah. This morning you'll find him maybe here on Thika Road. Later in the day he will be somewhere within Nairobi doing some maybe demolition. You know, he's known for these things. Yeah. So he's kind of concerned with what is really happening to Wanjiku and Atieno. Yeah.
Okay, let's now look at another story here. The murder trial starts today. Joey and Jackie Maribe case that they are prosecuted over the death of Monica Kimani. A lady was killed in Kilimani. The prosecution kicks off today. And also, new tough rule on Form 1 selection. The teachers union yesterday backed a new proposal by Ministry of Education to limit the powers of school heads in Form 1 admissions. The ministry announced that this year's Kenya Certificate of Primary Education Examination cadres would not be allowed to change schools after placement. There's a lot going on in education sector.
Yeah, sure.
And now the issue of the university merger. First of all, what's your take on that? Do you think these mergers will really help in maybe enabling the institutions maybe to run their affairs?
This matter should be avoided at all cost. In fact, merging universities is a very wrong move, not just by the CS, but if the country really advocates for that. I understand we are facing even our budget allocation. Even if you read the budget, and I'm even here with it, you'll find that our budget has a deficit, and maybe this is a desperate move by the ministry maybe to cut down maybe the employees or the workers of universities so that they can reduce the salaries to these universities. But it is a very wrong move, because merging universities in this country means that we are going back to the 80s, where we had a few universities and like a privilege to only a few people whose parents maybe could afford to pay school fees for their children. So I believe that this move is wrong, merging the universities, and it should be avoided. Maybe other mechanisms should be discussed. debated as to how to fund the universities other than reducing the staff and merging the universities, thinking that maybe they are helping the country. You know, in 2004, if I take you back, Parliament passed a bill to enable the increasing of universities. And one thing that has really baffles me in this country is that we make 2 steps forward, then make 10 backwards as a country. Because education is the only equalizer in the society. And the reason why we have universities in all parts of the country is to enable those people even who come from maybe Bungoma or even Pwani, Mombasa, or even Central, not to waste time to come to Nairobi University. Because whatever they will get in Nairobi University, they can get in Dedan Kimathi University, they can get in Masinde Muliro University. Why will you merge these universities and maybe reduce that chance of these people?
I think also the issue is mostly to consolidate some of the institutions that maybe they are not able to run their affairs because of financial constraints. Do you think that maybe merging it with the closest university might be maybe a good idea?
It is not a good idea, my friend, because you know, merging a university doesn't mean that maybe after merging the university will not face financial problems. It doesn't mean that way, because you know what the country or what the stakeholders in education should do. They should sit down and discuss as to how they are going to fund universities, how they are going to fund research, how they are going to fund education in higher learning institutions. For example, if you merge Masinde Muliro University with Kibabi University, with other universities in the region, with Maseno, maybe Jaramogi, that one doesn't mean that you have reduced the financial burden. You haven't. What it means, you know, maybe reducing in the sense of maybe reducing the staff and maybe the employees of the universities, maybe having lesser vice chancellors, having lesser chancellors. Maybe if they mean by reducing the burden to the university, if they mean that one by reducing the staff, then it equals to reducing the burden or the financial burden to the universities, then it is wrong. For me, an advice to them will be, if they want to fund research or science or even education in universities, they can do partnerships with companies. They can advise these universities to make partnerships maybe with banks, with companies, with business. We have individuals, businessmen, who are willing to fund some things in universities. Also, these universities have a lot of resources. For example, the other day I was just in Jomo Kenyatta University during their graduation, and I saw how these universities endowed with resources, especially land, and that one is an agricultural institution. You know, asking for money from government when you have land that you can cultivate and turn out, maybe generate some income, not just for the university but for the entire country. You know, that's a nice move that these universities can do to fund their education. Masinde Muliro University, for example, does mushroom technology. Why can't they use that mushroom technology to fund education? You know, it is about debate. Let these people come, stakeholders, the government, the Ministry of Education, the vice chancellors, the lecturers. We have senior people in this country who understand what should be happening in this country. They can sit down, deliberate about this issue, and I'm very sure they can come up with a viable solution as pertains education, other than merging, because we can't make 10 steps. Because when they made this policy to ensure that we have universities in this country, I'm very sure they were not blind to the fact that this thing might come out, unless if our leaders only do things to serve interests.
Okay, let's hear from Aluko. Do you think, picking from what Rocky has said, do you think now it's time for universities now to start looking for ways of generating their own income instead of relying majorly on government?
Well, that is one option available for the universities. But then I'm opposed to whatever my friend is saying, because one, economic survey had put it that between 2014 and 2017, 81 campuses had been opened. 81. Kenya has a population of around 50 million citizens. Universities are around 74, 75, I think so. Now, the idea that CS Magoha and probably the last administration in the Ministry of Education had for merging the universities is for the obvious reason to cut on costs. I mean, there is so much that goes on in terms of spending, but then without any quality kind of output. So you find that there are so many degree courses that don't just make meanings to most Kenyans. On a lighter note though, I see people kind of criticize whatever the DP, Dr. Deputy President William Ruto, his PhD course, his PhD the stuff, yes, that it's one less kind of, it's unknown, very unknown, like the course itself is so much unfamiliar to so many people. So people are like, hey, is it just because for the sake of education? You know, as Kenyans, we should be concerned with whatever we produce.
And I think also it's the role of the Minister of Education,
yes,
to ensure that whatever is being trained at this institution is also equivalent to what is expected on the market.
On the market, yes. Yeah. So that's why I was like, for the output, it's really poor as we stand right now with the universities. Instead, as he had put, the Ministry of Education should fund research and development. And we have to commend so many universities on that. One is JKUAT, the other is University of Nairobi, the other is Technical University of Kenya. I mean, so many things have been invented from these institutions. And then again, for merging the institutions, you see, the idea is really good because the formerly 8 provinces that we had, every university will be, every province will have one university. Yeah. So kind of, if they're merged, cost will be reduced. You see, for example, I know in UON, as an example, they have probably the Vice Chancellor earning around 2 million or 3 million. Yeah. Again,
the question is,
yes,
do you think the salaries of these guys really is the most expensive thing? I don't think so. I think the operational cost is the matter that we should be focusing on.
Sure.
And again, merging the universities will mean that the staff in that university might be overcrowded. They also need more. Currently, as we speak, the lecture halls, you find a lecturer teaching about 800 students, one lecturer. Now, what if another institution comes in with another 1,000 or 2,000 students? What would that mean? And then the merger means some people might lose their jobs.
Now, as a country, we should not be talking about people losing jobs as a solution to things. As a country, we should not be talking about creating unemployment, or maybe, education is the only equalizer of the haves and the have-nots. And when you start talking about education, and I see people saying that we should reduce universities instead of talking about increasing universities, then it baffles me. I don't know whether I should cry or laugh because that one is really baffling me as a person.
Okay.
This country needs to invest in education to the extent that even in every village we have a university. In every village.
But do they, that would be overdoing it?
No, listen.
Because currently it's like almost every county now has a university. Almost every county.
We should not manufacture the same knowledge as a country. We should encourage diversity. you know, if a university in Western region, most, if a university in this central region, maybe they could, if a university in, maybe in Pwani University, has this maybe a very, let me say, a very, a characteristic that is different from University of Nairobi or from Kibabi University.
Okay.
We should encourage that because it is encouraging, let me talk of diversity of thought. We should not, you know, I'm really opposed to this scenario that we should have a limited number of universities, and what is delivered in University of Nairobi is the same knowledge that is being delivered in Jomo Kenyatta or Kenyatta University.
Okay, we'll come back and continue with that.
Yeah.
Please have let's look at the headlines of in the Star. Ruto asked Uhuru to probe assassination. That's what we've been talking about here. Misari letter by unknown CS warned a plot to eliminate deputy president. That's also what we have been covering. And in the Star, Uhuru order on CS's over Ruto claims is the same story. Harambee Stars back to drawing board, the same story, the story of Harambee Stars losing, then they'll be meeting Tanzania. That will be discussed later on. And those are just some of the top stories. We'll come back and discuss more about our top stories that we are, and the topics that we have liked to. Some of them we have touched them, but yeah, we'll maybe rush on them, then we continue. And now we are going to take a quick breather. Remember, you can keep in touch with us. That's on Twitter, hashtag Gbs Morning Extra. You can also send an SMS 21144, 21144, and we'll be sampling some of them in the course of the show. Don't go too far.
The Bible says, seek ye the kingdom of God and his righteousness.
Amen. 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 Oh my, have I provoked you? Then take action.
Different artists. Different choirs.
Rescue mission. Pump me with your Holy Spirit.
Different praise and worship. I tell you, this is a show where we bring the best of the best.
It's amazing.
Yes. And shalom.
Kulipa is now easy with EasyPay. When you shop at your local supermarket, fuel your car, dine out, book a flight, make other payments or pay your bills. You want simplicity, security and convenience. It's accepted everywhere you see the EasyPay sign. And it works with other mobile networks too. What's more, you can withdraw your cash at the supermarket till where you see the cashback logo. Get your Equitel line or download the Easy Banking app today because Kulipa is now easy with EasyPay.
There is a card that makes paying for almost everything easy like ABCs. No need to make trips to the ATMs to withdraw money or carry cash around. That's the Equity Bank Visa card, accepted everywhere you see the Visa sign. Use it to pay for food and drinks, fuel, shopping, pay for your Uber ride, shop online, travel and hotel bookings and so much more. Pay conveniently and free of charge. Card security is guaranteed thanks to the chip and PIN technology that protects your card from fraud. Start paying with your Equity Bank Visa card now and enjoy the convenience of not carrying cash.
It's time to claim your story, claim your streets, and take back your narratives. Praise yourselves instead of waiting for them to praise you. Celebrate your culture before they try and sell it back to you. Beat the drum about your innovations. Keep them chanting in stadiums. Keep the hearts racing and stopping. No one can tell your stories like you. No one can steal the spotlight like you. Who shakes the dance floors? Who ignites imaginations? You. Your story inspires the world. Your story shows them what it is to be made in Africa. The stories never end on DSTV, Africa's greatest storyteller.
tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. At Thika Institute of Business Studies, we give you an opportunity to prepare for tomorrow through unrivaled courses enhanced with practical skills.
We will engage you both in class and out of class, and you shall come out a very different person.
We organize attachment for our students.
Wow, this is the place to be.
Thika Institute of Business Studies, the highway to future success.
Everywhere, GBS.
Good morning once more and welcome again in the Gbs Morning Extra. My name is Tom Mwema, and here while we were at break, the debate here was very heated. Someone calling for university to be bid in almost every ward, in every village, because Kenyans deserve education, and others have different opinion. The university merger debate still continues. We also take on that. We also need to know what you think about it. So get to our Twitter. Our Twitters right now, hashtag Gbs Morning Extra, and then we'll take a look at that, at your tweet. Now, gentlemen, Rockin, you are advocating for universities to be installed in almost every village.
Of course. And my reason is that, you know, as population grows, you know, sometimes I believe in Robert Malthus' theory of population. You know, as the population grows, it means that we should also increase the universities, in the number of universities, because we are no longer in the 1970s or 1980s where we used to have like only 2 universities in the country. We are almost 55 million strong as a country. And you know, you cannot reduce number of universities in a system that where people are growing exponentially. It only means that the only thing we should be doing is to increase universities so that we can accommodate everybody all over the country. And education is not just about getting jobs. Education is about people getting knowledge and ideas to do various things, not even being helped by the government, not just to be employed by the government. You know, we need to. In fact, for me, I believe that we should have universities in almost every ward in this country, so that everybody in this country knows, is educated, is literate, he knows what is right and wrong, he is innovative, and that's the goal of education.
Do you think we'll have a whole population of educated individuals who have nothing to do?
You know, in China, one professor, my professor in USA, he told me that in China, for every 100 experts from USA, China has 1,000 experts of the same degree. Why? Apart from Chinese having a huge population, they also train people so much. They ensure that everybody goes to school, and it is not just about maybe the government offering jobs. No, it is about impacting skills and knowledge to the people, so technical skills, so that these people can help themselves, can innovate things, and can help the government.
And you're also seeing the government investing so much in the training institutions, technical training institutions.
In Kenya?
Yeah.
Yet, so you are discouraging the government from so you want to discourage the government from investing in institutions? You know,
no, I'm not discouraging. I'm just saying the government is now concentrating more on the TVETs.
Why not the universities?
That's now the question. Maybe the university is not channeling out students who are equipped for the market. That's what it means.
That's not the problem of students. That's the problem of the government. You know, a government should intervene and take care of the needs of the citizenry, and education as a right to everybody, as a right to everybody. I'm just baffled that it is not a part of the Big Four agenda, but education should be given a priority for us to have a population that knows what is going on, a population that is innovative, a population that believes in the right development, not a population that sees university education and something that is preserved for a few people. You know, we are now sliding back to the time when education was only meant for those ones who could afford. Having a lot of education in any universities in the system meant that the cost was low to cater for the people who could not afford to go to university, or the people who come from humble backgrounds. So when you reduce the universities, it simply means that the intake, in fact, the intake requirements to universities will increase, and will have actually ensured that very many people don't access this education.
Aluko is laughing at you, maybe. I don't know why.
You know, Tom,
yeah.
The issue here is about quantity versus quality. He believes in so many universities. I mean, as much as in every ward we should have universities. I mean, it will have a great, for me, negative impact to the community. Because one, the perception outside is that only going to the university is a way of assuring yourself that now you'll be successful in life. Well, that's not the case. We look at other issues like the unemployment rate for the youth currently stands at 12%. 12.5%. And joblessness is at 40 for the youth. Yeah? Because one, maybe I sat for my KCSE in 2013. I passed, yes, I went to the university. What of those who had performed averagely, yes, dismally, and have this, still have the knowledge, the enthusiasm, the, passion to carry on with the education, not only in the university, but also in the colleges, and even technical training institution. So my point is, we should not applaud so much university education to mean success of an individual. No. What the government should do, and I'm proud they're trying to do, is investing in the technical training institutions, the TVET. Yeah, we have so many technical training institutions, actually almost in every county, not county, but former provinces, 8 provinces, known ones actually. So it should be, we should focus our attention in improving the technical expertise of students.
And that would mean we are rendering education, university education helpless, or?
Yeah. No, that one, university education still stands to be university education. Yeah? The only thing, we try to raise hope for those who have been hopeless, because these people who had performed dismally, yeah, in their KCSE, can now further the education and improve on, invent their own things, and we move this country forward, rather than having so many people raising a lot of joblessness. And
as I finish, my friend is talking about quality and quantity. I'm not avoiding the question of quality, but can't we mix quantity and quality to accommodate everybody? Can't we?
But the question is,
as a country,
the current, you saw the other day JKUAT graduated 118.
Yes, I was there.
PhDs, and everybody's raising questions about that. Sense. Everybody is raising questions about that. So increase these universities, and then they'll be issuing the same degrees.
We are creating a narrative that university education is meant for a small cabal of people who deserve to go to university. That's the narrative we are trying to create. University education is meant for everybody. And I saw the budget being read, and education was awarded around 404 billion shillings, and that is good. Where is this money going to be spent in the universities or in the education sector? We cannot limit the budget on the university education alone. But as a country, we must first of all appreciate that we are growing in terms of population. We must also appreciate that we are in a globalized society. We are in a global village, which, number one, takes education as a priority for the development of any country. And you cannot do that by reducing education or chances of people, the poor, accessing university educations. Let us not create a narrative that when a university graduates with 500 PhDs, then it is wrong. No. We need to create a narrative that encourages education, literacy, and in fact, we should have more PhDs, more doctors, we should have more master's students, we should have more people with the degrees.
And then
in this country.
what would be their impact in the society? You know,
it is not
the number.
Kenya. They can even go and take the expertise in Chinese are here constructing our roads. We have Chinese here.
And then do you think a PhD person will come and construct a railway?
Really? No, I'm saying what I'm trying to imply is when we manufacture, when we teach these people, when we produce a lot of people who have gone to universities, doesn't mean that they will remain in Kenya.
But the degrees are questionable.
How questionable?
That's not the issue. The
now,
degrees
that's
are
the question of quality assurance. That's the question of the Ministry of Education. This is not the question of students. My point is to defend the have-nots, the poor, the wretched of this country, who cannot access, maybe who will be denied the opportunity to go to university just because the entry levels have been increased, because we have very few universities in the country, number one. Number two, who cannot afford life in some expensive universities because fees has been increased. And number three, maybe will be denied this opportunity just because the country has a policy.
Rocking, it's funny how you're trying to avoid the issue of we are channeling out thousands.
What is wrong with that?
We're channeling out thousands of students.
What is wrong
who
with
are
that?
out there idling, they don't have something to do. And the employers are questioning, they're saying these degrees, some of them are fake, and some of the students are not competent enough to be on the market.
Let me give you a solution to this. You know, I've been saying publicly, I've gone to radio stations saying it publicly, how the government can create jobs. And I like what the president is doing on the question of the Big Four agenda, on manufacturing. You know, when you concentrate on education and avoid the bigger question of protecting the economy against maybe unfair competition from outside, then you are getting it wrong. Our main problem is not about education or our degrees or universities in the country. Our main problem is that we have frozen economy, which has a very, we don't have maybe, we need to protect the local industries against unfair competition by closing our borders, putting austerity measures so that our local businesses can thrive and employ people. And you cannot do that by closing the education. No. You go to the root cause of the problem. The reason why youths are idling in these countries because there are no chances, there are no opportunities in the country. And those opportunities have been closed by the fact that we have unfair competition. But how can China compete with Kenya at the same level? We need to put measures, for example, to block so that our industries, as they grow, they will create opportunities for these people. And you cannot solve that by closing education. Education should be something that should be appreciated and in fact encouraged. We need more degrees. We need more PhDs in this country. We need more master's students. We need more students so that as opportunities grow, courtesy to the austerity measures at the border, then we create jobs and the wealth, the national wealth, the common wealth will increase. The GDP, you know, the kind of definition of World Bank, what the World Bank defines as GDP to me is wrong. It should be about the commonwealth, what everybody, what I am able to get as a person. I went to school, I studied, for example, I'm taking international law, international relations. The government should ensure that by creating opportunities for me, I'm able as a person to actually access these opportunities at any time without strain, because that's the role of the government. And you cannot do that by actually putting pressure on education. That is my point.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I agree that's his point. But then, maybe the point again we are missing here is the fact that we are praising too much university education at the expense of giving other institutions chances, colleges and and technical institutions. So, because their contribution to this economy, Kenyan economy, is really huge. By the way, so many graduates are at home, masters, undergraduate degree, and even PhD. I always get chances to, converse with some of my friends doing PhD, and they're like, you know, these things, even if we are doing them, it's just normal. Yeah? It means that the education itself did not impact some kind of innovative skill into the person. Yeah? Okay. So this is really, really having an impact to the burden that we have of joblessness among the graduates. And if the graduates are the ones jobless, what of the Form 4 leavers? Yeah? So it's for me, institutions, these institutions should be given a fair chance. Yes.
This friend of mine is in university. He's in university.
Okay.
And he's telling people.
Okay, let's move to the next topic. Because I'm seeing, we'll be here for the whole day to discuss these major issues. Especially now that someone thinks that we should have a university in every world. Did you say that?
In every world, in every village, in this country.
That's a very funny proposal. Okay. Anyway, the president is expected to address the state this Thursday. This week, Thursday or Friday. Rockin, what do you think the president should address right now?
The president, as the number one, as the commander-in-chief of our defense forces, and as our leader, has a lot of issues that he needs to put in mind while addressing the nation. Number one, he has been, even the last State of the Nation address, he talked about corruption. He talked about the Building Bridges initiative. He talked about the Big Four agenda. And I will not expect anything short of that. The only thing he needs to do is to not just, Kenyans have accused him of saying, just paying lip service to these issues. And some of them have said that he needs to take maybe drastic measures, maybe on the question of corruption, because that is the elephant in the room. That's the thing that is actually killing every sector of the economy. That's the thing that is killing development in this country. So if the president can address the nation on that and seriously come out, put commissions. We have the EACC, yes, but strengthen the EACC so that this question of corruption can be dealt with once and for all. Then the country will be in the right trajectory.
What about the education issue, the one you are raising?
Which education issue?
The university issues that will be managed. Should he also address that?
On the university issue, I feel like he should avoid that thing like a plague. You cannot, as the president of the country, he should be encouraging more education, more opportunities for our people to go to university. Okay. But I know that Magoha is representing him, is CS. He's representing him, and we might be acting on a directive. But to me as a citizen, that is wrong. I've gone to university, and I feel like everybody needs to go to university, and it should not be a preserve of a few.
Okay, let's hear from Aluko. Aluko, what do you expect the president to address now that the last state address he also touched on corruption, and up to now we are not seeing anything happening. He also touched on many issues that we are not seeing anything really on the ground. Do you think now he will also come back and address the same issues, and again we will wait for nothing to happen?
I believe so many Kenyans are fed up with the lip services, more so from the president. And it's unfortunate that, yes, he talks tough, but acts weak. Yeah. So, so many issues that should be addressed. And the obvious one is corruption. Yeah. Another one is BBI and the recommendations of whether or not to have referendum. Though he's of the opinion that we should try to run away from politics, but then, I mean, every day, every time, politics is politics. It will just come up.
Okay.
Yeah. So referendum debate should be, I mean, initiated by the president. Yeah, because it will enable Kenyans
you should also address that issue.
Yeah, he should address that issue.
Okay.
Another one is on the issue of supporting the Big Four and more so manufacturing, because that is where we have kind of opportunities in disguise, though,
okay,
that have not been tapped,
okay,
for those who have gone to school and those who have not yet gone to school.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, I see you want to react, but unfortunately, we are run out of time. So I think we'll continue the discussion next week after the president has addressed the nation. Then we'll have more to talk about on Tuesday. Thank you so much, Rokin, Deputy Secretary General, MDF. And when are you opening other branches in Nairobi and maybe
branches opening is ongoing, and like I told you the other day, our people went to open the Nakuru branch. We are also planning to go to Kakamega, open the Kakamega chapter, the Western Region chapter.
Okay.
MDF is live and kicking.
Okay, thank you so much, gentlemen. I hope to have you more and more to discuss these issues. And now, time is not on our side. Unfortunately, the discussion was too, I don't want to call it entertaining, it was too candid, that's the word. And now we have to take a break. And now Kevin Nyariki will be taking you up next with the sports section and talk about the AFCON, what has been happening, and of course the Wolf Sporting Fraternity will be discussing that in the next few minutes. For now, from me, Tom Wema, I wish you a beautiful day ahead.